Alright gang, we're back. We're going to test out the new camera rig today. I'm going to do the airbrushing of the new 88 model I just completed. We're going to get a little louder here. We're going to turn on the paint booth and start mixing. So if you're new to airbrushing, this is pretty much the procedure that I go through. So I'll get the light turned on and then go ahead and kick on the air compressor. First thing I do is I like to take my airbrush and just test to make sure everything's working smoothly. Sometimes if it's been a few days since you've used it, this will stick a little bit. You kind of have to make sure it's, working good for you. Bowl's clean it all out, everything's good. I'll check the tip, make sure there's no buildup on the tip. And then we're going to go in with our black, in this case. Got it ready here in one of my mix bottles. And we're going to mix this, shake it thoroughly. And get it mixed up. Gotta have your trusty beer handy. I'll typically go in with a latex glove. I get these at Costco, they're cheap, they're like $10 for a big box. Typically put one on just my left hand. Everything's been shaken up. I'm going to go ahead and fill the bowl. I got the large bowl. This is the Iwata Neo large bowl attached. It also comes with a small bowl. We're going to fill it all the way up. Not quite all the way to the top, but pretty much up to the top. And I'm going to take my lid, put my lid on, and we're going to go in. I'm going to start off with like a test piece. I just use a piece of paper towel. And it looks like we're not going to get paint. Alright, we'll come right back when we get this straightened out. We are not getting flow, so I'm going to have to troubleshoot this. Okay gang, I'm back. Needle, ended up the needle, I pulled the needle out of the back. You unscrew this back, pull the needle out. It had a little bit of residue on it from last time. I may just start taking the needle out at the end of each session and putting it off to the side. Make sure it's good and clean. So that's where we're at. I did a test onto the paper towel, got some of the blobbiness out of the brush. Just kind of want to do that to make sure it's spraying nice and smooth and it's not throwing clumps. Right? If you got clumps, that means you're not running enough pressure. You kind of want to turn up the pressure. So I'm running at about 25 to 30 psi right now. Kind of stay back a little bit, kind of going in a slight circular motion. And this is where you'll start to see if I did as good a job as I thought I could on the mold lines. And this is where once you put this first coat on and let it dry, you'll start to see if you need to clean up any additional mold lines. Again, today I'm using the Badger self-leveling primer or base coat. You can see how nice it goes on. It's really good product. I highly recommend it. I'll put it on the link in the description below. It comes in a kit. I think it's a gray, white, and black primer. Some people call it base coat. You see how well it goes on. I'm not staying really close to the model. I'm getting back. gun rotates and it's not permanently mounted, so I'm going to go ahead and take it off. We start getting some of the undercoating on the other side of the gun. Make sure the carriage, we're getting all the carriage good. And also, again, in other videos I've got a link for the airbrush I'm using in the air compressor. I'll go ahead and put that down below also. If you haven't gotten an airbrush yet, you're talking now, you can realistically get into airbrushing for 150 bucks and a little less of that. Especially if you click on that link, you're going to get a discount. And this stuff dries really quick, you'll find. Just a couple minutes and it's pretty well dry. And again, it's a water base. I only use water base paints through my airbrush. That's one nice thing about the cap. Since we got the cap on, I can set this down, let it dry. I'll turn the model around and see if there's any spots that I missed here in a few minutes. And let this dry good, and we'll come back and we'll show you. We'll do the custom. We'll do the custom dark sand on this model. He's looking good. I'm just going to let this dry. I'm going to come back in maybe 5 minutes, sip on my beer a little bit. I will come back to turn things over, look at it, and just do another quick hit with this. But otherwise, we'll come back to the next segment, and we'll show the custom mix I'm going to use for the dark desert sand. Okay, gang, real quick, I lied. I'm going to be back. I'll just show you some of the tricks for getting this airbrush cleaned out between coats. And another decision I had made while I was doing the black. I'm going to turn that off so it's easier for you to hear me. As many of you know, I watch Andy's Hobbies from Arizona. He has a great YouTube channel if you want to get into model building. I highly recommend model building. It's a lot of fun. It does take time to do it right, but I think it's added a lot to my wargaming painting abilities and doing my wargaming modeling. So anyway, so what you're doing is I'm going in with some airbrush cleaner, which is basically distilled water and a couple drops of dish detergent. That's all it is. So once you get one of these, you can make your own. So I'm going in, I'm putting some of this in there. I'm coming in with a paper towel. I'm cleaning out the bowl, the inside of the bowl, and then one of the things that we do is you put some of this in the bowl, and you can get one of these. It's a little holder I use as my holder, right? And then you can spray into this. So I just come in and let me get this in the shot better here, guys. So you basically are just running your airbrush here, the compressor come on, and you hear that sound. That means it's run dry. And you look down inside the bowl and you'll be able to see that the inner chamber is pretty clean. The other thing that I do is I'll take a Q-tip. You can see some of the black on the Q-tip, and I have to do this like on bigger models like this while I'm painting, because you'll find that this outside dries, this inside this nozzle, that paint dries as fast as the paint's drying on the model. So you periodically need to get in there, and this came with my airbrush kit, just a series of little brushes, little wire brushes. And what I do is I take the little one and I come up to the tip and I go around the edges of the tip with it, and you'll see a big blob of, in my case, while I was painting, I put this through there, and it pulled a little blob of paint off of the needle. The little needles up inside that tip, and that way I keep your needle clear, and keep the brush operating. So now what I try to do, and I got a little drawer right next to on my table here. I just keep my little kits in there. I got a little thing of Q-tips. That's a little ball mason jar I filled with Q-tips. I highly recommend keeping that close and handy, along with your airbrush cleaner. I have everything off to the side here that I need. And then what I'm going to do now, and this is a tip that I picked up from Andy's Hobbies headquarters, is we are going to come in with this kit, and there's going to be a little bit of white I'm going to apply primarily on the gun shield, and just a few spots of white, like along where the sunlight would hit the gun. And what that does is when I go back in with my initial base coat, which is in this case is going to be a sand color for sand warfare, it will provide some contrasting with what you're doing. So it'll contrast the color a little bit, so that's not just a flat tan and sand color. You'll have a little bit of lightness, a little bit of darkness, and I think that was a great tip that he shares on his channel, is going in for especially these vehicle kits, and he does a lot of tanks, a lot of airplanes, but mostly tanks and military vehicles, is coming in with that. After you do the black's dried good like it has, I'm going to go back in with some of the white on the areas where the sunlight in the larger panels, like if it were a truck, like the side panels, if it were a tank, you know, the tops and sides. But pull him up on your Google or on your YouTube search, Andy's Hobby Headquarters, and watch some of his videos. He'll explain it better than I do, but that is what I'm getting ready to do here next. I'm going to do a few spots of white, so I'm not going to need a whole lot of white, just a little bit to run through the brush. I'll clean the brush again, set it aside, and we'll be ready for our custom color. Alright guys, now we're going to go in with our custom color. Going with another glove. And our airbrush, I mix it in one of my paint Petries here. I'll load that sucker up. And what I use with my Vallejo paints is the Airbrush Flow Improver. Let's see how this works. We got our test here. Looks like we're flowing good. Now we're going to go in. With our sand. The Flow Improver, you can use your standard Vallejo paints. You don't have to buy special paints. Just use your standard paints that you would normally use for a model kit for, say, Flames of War or something. I'm going to go up on my pressure a little bit. I'm going to go up to 30-35 pounds. That's what's nice about using that black base coat, because you're going to get some nice dark overtones where this doesn't get, and it's going to give you some nice contrasts. That's why most of my flings of war tanks and things, I start with a black base coat. Yeah, the color's going to work pretty good. I mixed some tan earth, Vallejo tan earth with buff, like 50-50 is how I'm coming up with this color. And it's flowing real nice, guys. So I did about, I guess when you get down to it, I did like 1/3 with buff, 1/3 tan earth, and 1/3 of the Airbrush flow improver is kind of the ratio, overall ratio. Working real nice. Guys, if you're not using an airbrush, you really have to get one. Your modeling goes up so much. It's so much better for your quality. It's not even funny. Because you're putting on so much lighter coats that it doesn't hide the details like it does if you're using aerosols. I'm going to turn the kit upside down. I'm going to do the underside just for good measure. Just light coat. And obviously we'll weather the tires. We're going to do some more weathering techniques. We'll be doing some detailing and stuff too, so we should get those tires, the rims of the tires decent. Okay, we're about out of paint. Alright, that's it for the paint. I'm really liking this color though. You can see for yourself. I think that's going to be a good base coat to go with. I'm going to go ahead and get some airbrush cleaner. Bring my cleaner over. I'll show you what kind of the process I do here. I'm just going to kind of run that out. Clean out the bowl. Now what I'm doing, I'm holding my finger over the tip and it makes the product inside bubble into the bowl. It kind of helps get that inner bowl cleaned out that way. Again, I'm going to go in with my little brush and I'm getting the paint residue off of that tip. Like so. I'm going with a Q-tip, fresh Q-tip. I'm going to go just a little bit more cleaner, a tiny bit. Finger in front of the tip, bubbling it up, bubble it up. See the bubbles? Run that out. Alright, now I'm going to pull the tip. And I think this is going to be part of my new procedure. Turn that off. So you can see how the Neo is working here. So basically pulling the tip out and you can see the residue that gets on that tip. So I just take, this has already had some cleaner on it. Kind of just like that. You just don't want to bend your tip, obviously. I'm going to just start leaving my tip off to the side and you know, calling it a day, just like that. I'm going to put this off to the side with my top. I'm going to turn off my compressor to let the air out. And there you have it, guys. Airbrush done. Discard my glove and we'll see you on the next video.